Is AI making you smarter or stupider? The answer might shock you. Recent scientific research reveals something disturbing about how artificial intelligence is affecting our brains. Hello everyone. I know this question is uncomfortable because I've been using AI extensively for the past 2.5 years. But the new scientific research coming out is truly shocking. We all thought AI would make us smarter, but the opposite is happening. People are actually becoming less intelligent. Memory experiment, 030 to 130. Let me ask you something. Think back 10 years ago, how many phone numbers did you remember? Maybe 7 or 8 numbers, at least 3 or 4, right? But now in 2025, how many phone numbers do you actually remember? Probably just 1 or 2. Why? Because all numbers are now saved in our phones. We don't need to remember them anymore. Similarly, 10 years ago, when you went somewhere, you remembered the routes. You knew different landmarks in your city. But today, you just open navigation apps and follow the directions. These are just 2 small examples, but they should tell you how serious this problem is. The science, 130 to 230. Later in this video, I'll show you scientific studies proving that people who use navigation apps less frequently, for example, taxi drivers, have a significantly larger portion of their brain compared to average people. Now imagine navigation apps only deal with remembering routes. But AI chatbots can write entire essays for you, code for you, generate business decisions, investments, and ideas. This raises a very inconvenient question: is using AI making people stupider? In the past few months, new scientific studies have been published on this question, and their results are shocking. Let's find out in today's video. Addressing concerns, 2:30 to 4 o'clock. Many of you might be thinking, isn't this hypocrisy? You have your own AI platform where you offer different AI chatbots, and today you're criticizing AI so much? Let me be clear, this isn't hypocrisy. I consider it responsibility. I'm connected to you through social media. Without social media, I couldn't make videos. But still, I've made many videos discussing the negative impact of social media platforms. I've even said that social media as a technology has had an overall negative impact on humanity. Similarly with smartphones. I use a smartphone myself and make videos through smartphones. But I've talked extensively about smartphone addiction and its harmful impact on our new generation. In the same way, telling the complete truth about AI, I consider that my responsibility. Major research findings, 4 to 7 o'clock. 3 major research papers related to this entire issue have come out in the past year. Study 1, MIT Media Lab Research, 2025. The first is a study conducted by MIT Media Lab in America in 2025. Researchers asked 54 participants to write an essay and divided them into 3 different groups. First group was allowed to use AI chatbots. Second group could only use search engines. Third group had to write the entire essay themselves. During essay writing, an EEG machine was used to record their brain activity. Something very shocking emerged here. The AI chatbot users group showed the least brain engagement. Their brain activity was significantly lower while writing. Literally speaking, their brains were switched off. The most shocking thing was that this study lasted several months. After a few months, it was observed that the AI users became lazier and by the end of the study were just copy-pasting essays. When this group was asked what they had written, they couldn't even quote their own essay. Meanwhile, those who wrote essays themselves without any tools remembered everything. The search engine group fell somewhere in between. Active brain function was seen in them, but not as much brain activity as the third group. Study 2, Microsoft and Carnegie Mellon, 2025. Similarly, in 2025, Microsoft and Carnegie Mellon University conducted a study on 319 knowledge workers. They found that people who rely more on AI do much less critical thinking. When people start relying heavily on AI, their independent problem-solving skills can weaken. Additionally, the study found that people's focus, which was previously on problem-solving, has now shifted to how to use AI in existing systems and how to automate tasks. Study 3, Critical Thinking Research. The third study was conducted on approximately 666 people. It found a very significant negative correlation between frequent AI use and critical thinking scores. Meaning, the more AI use, the less critical thinking happens. The reason given here was cognitive offloading. Cognitive offloading means people outsource their thinking work to AI, and they don't need to think themselves. Additionally, it emerged that this outsourcing is being seen more in young people. From these three studies, it's clear that AI is having a major effect on our brain's thinking capabilities. Historical context, 7 to 930. Now, there's also a counterpoint that many people raise. Whenever any new technology comes, there's fear that this technology might make people dumber. This is actually true. Thousands of years ago, when books were invented, some people opposed books, calling them a threatening technology. For example, Greek philosopher Socrates opposed writing books. He said that if people learned to write, their memory would be destroyed. They wouldn't remember things, just write them down. He also said writing would give people the illusion of wisdom. People would think they know a lot, but actually they'd know nothing. However, today we know that this entire argument was wrong. Actually, writing helps you remember things better. Similarly, when calculators came in the 1970s, educators said that children's math ability would be destroyed and they wouldn't learn a basic life skill. Research on calculators found mixed results. If used incorrectly or overused in younger classes, it could have a negative impact on children. But some studies also showed calculators weren't having such a bad effect. The real problem begins, 9:30 to 12 o'clock. The real problem actually starts after the arrival of search engines. In 2011, Betsy Sparrow and her team did a famous research. They found that when people know information is available somewhere, like on the internet, they try less to remember it. This was named the search engine effect or digital amnesia. If our brain knows something can be found through searching, our brain doesn't waste energy storing it. For example, you see a new English word while reading a book, and you search for its meaning online. At that moment, you'll definitely learn the word's meaning. But then a few days later, if that word appears again, it's unlikely you'll remember what it meant. Because of this effect, the brain stores not the information but where that information can be found, like the names of websites where you found that information. This still doesn't sound too dangerous, but researchers noticed the real danger in navigation apps. Navigation and the brain, 12 to 1430. Navigation, meaning finding your way in any given area, is one of the most demanding tasks for our brain. For this, our brain uses the hippocampus portion, which is located here in the brain. This hippocampus is very important for our memory and learning. Some anthropologists even believe that because of navigation, humans needed memory, and perhaps a major reason behind human evolution was the need for navigation. Navigation skills have such a deep impact on our brain that even the brain structure changes. Look at this study published in the year 2000. London taxi drivers' brains were analyzed and compared with normal people's brains. In those days, navigation wasn't very good. So London taxi drivers had to remember up to 25,000 streets. And when their brains were analyzed, it was found that the hippocampus portion of their brain was much larger compared to an average person. And today, people who rely heavily on navigation apps and GPS see the opposite. Their navigation skills weaken, and later they can't remember routes because their hippocampus doesn't get trained. Now the problem here is that the hippocampus isn't just necessary for navigation. It's also very important for episodic memory, future imagination, and connecting concepts. When you don't use your navigation skills, all these other abilities also start weakening. AI's potential impact, 1430 to 1600 hours. And now you can imagine what level of dangerous impact AI will have on people's brains. Because of AI, we're thinking less, and it may take several years to know which parts of the brain will be impacted, because research takes time and finding out long-term impacts can take many years. But from the information shared so far, you can definitely guess which direction things are moving in. The brain's efficiency problem, 16 to 1800 hours. A human brain is only 2% of the body but consumes 20% of energy. Therefore, evolution has made us cognitive misers, mentally stingy. All humans have a tendency to want to put in minimal mental effort in any task. And wherever we get a chance to use less brain power, we use minimal brain. When our brain learns that a reliable agent is handling its work, it switches itself off to save energy. But the problem here is that our brain needs friction to learn. If there's no challenge, it won't learn anything. And until you struggle yourself, think yourself, make mistakes yourself, and try again, your brain's networks won't become strong. On the other hand, evolution has prepared us to adopt every technology that makes our work easier. And here a paradox is created. We need to make our work easier, but also need to prepare our brain for challenges and solving complex problems. Who's at risk? 18 to 20 hours. The biggest risk from AI is to those people who don't know how to do a task deeply. Because now, due to AI, those processes won't develop in their brains that come from grunt work. Grunt work means those tasks that are very repetitive, boring, and physically demanding. Like for students, writing a long essay takes a lot of effort to do yourself. Or for new employees, summarizing documents, writing basic code, sending routine emails. These are quite boring tasks that take a lot of time initially. But later, as we keep doing these tasks, we pick up speed. We start doing these tasks quickly, and in this very process, we learn many new things. From all this, knowledge and mental models are built that help us a lot later in life. But now, because of AI, this grunt work is starting to be automated. Students and new employees aren't getting their training ground because of this. The biggest problem arising from this is, if you don't know the fundamentals of a task very well, how will you verify whether you've done that task correctly or not? Even if you get your work done by AI, you have to review AI's work to find mistakes in it. But if you don't have first principles knowledge about that task, if you don't know the fundamentals of that task, then you'll never be able to review AI's work and won't be able to catch any mistakes by AI. The solution, not boycotting, 20 to 2200 hours. Now the question arises, how can this harm from AI be stopped? The first solution that might come to your mind is to boycott AI. Stop using AI altogether. But in my opinion, this is not a realistic solution. Because doing so means you're also ignoring AI's positive impact. Work that previously required 10 people can now be done by one person alone. AI has increased work productivity and efficiency so much that it's become easier for small businesses to compete with big businesses. If someone wants to learn something new, gain new knowledge, this work has become even easier because all the world's knowledge has come to your fingertips. So in such a case, boycotting AI would mean you'll be left far behind compared to the rest of the world. It would be like trying to find a new job today without learning computers. The real solution, 2200 hours to 2400 hours. So if this isn't the solution, what is? The root cause we've identified in this entire issue is that our brain also needs to be trained the same way our body needs to be trained. In modern times, with the arrival of technology, as convenience has increased, our daily exercise has decreased accordingly. Need to go somewhere? You can go sitting in a car. Need to climb floors? You can go on escalators. Elevators have arrived. But our body works on the use it or lose it philosophy. To maintain good health, we have to train the body regularly by playing sports, going to the gym, exercising. And we realized a major solution to counter AI's negative impact would be brain training. We should train our brain in the same way we train our body, by giving it challenges and difficulties. Practical approach, 24:00-25:00. The biggest danger from AI is to those who don't deeply know how to do a task. Because now, due to AI, those processes won't develop in their minds that come from grunt work. If you don't know the fundamentals of a task very well, you can never review AI's work properly. Without foundation-level base, you can't cross-check your conclusions against basic truth. Balanced approach, 25:00-27:00. When you use AI in your life, don't become completely dependent on it. And this same thing is applicable for navigation apps too. Try to work without these apps a few days a week. AI should be used as a tool to make your work more productive and efficient. But in this process, don't lose your fundamental skills. Learn to write essays, learn to write emails, learn writing, learn vocabulary, learn math, and most importantly, learn to think. By doing this, you'll get the best of both worlds. AI's efficiency and your brain's sharpness. AI's convenience and our intelligence, we don't have to choose. We can keep both things with us. Conclusion, 27:00-28:00. In the end, just remember one thing, our brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the better it will work. The solution isn't to reject AI completely, but to use it wisely while actively training our cognitive abilities. We need to find the balance between leveraging AI's power and maintaining our own mental sharpness. Think of AI as a bicycle, it can help you go faster and further, but you still need to know how to balance and pedal. Don't let it become a wheelchair that you can't function without. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this valuable, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.